everybody. My name is Eric McLeod.
And I'm Chris Holden. Thanks for joining us.
This is LowBlowRadio, the blow-by-blow podcast. Chris, before we kick off, happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day, Eric. Happy Canada Day, everybody out there.
Absolutely. We are recording this, of course, Canada Day, July 1st, 2020, here in lovely Ontario, Canada. And
I work today, though, so it's only half Canada Day for me. I'm taking my real Canada Day on Friday.
Ooh, fair enough.
But there are lots of fireworks going off, so if you hear bangs in the background, it's probably not gunshots. It's probably fireworks.
More than likely.
Probably.
But yeah, everybody is celebrating, and there's plenty to celebrate because we had a fantastic Fyter Fest. That's what we're going to do the blow-by-blow of tonight. What did you make of the show?
I thought it was a really good show. I mean, it was a level below excellent, right?
Right.
I thought myself, but then I'm also, along with that, proviso is that it was only half of the show, the whole Fyter Fest experience, because that includes next week's stuff.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed I enjoyed all of the matches. I didn't think it was a bad match. But for me, probably the highlight was probably the opener. I thought that was going back over the card at the end. They were all good, but to me, that was maybe my favorite.
Right.
Match. Maybe.
Oh, it was.
Maybe I'll change my mind by the time we're done talking about it. But
you never know, right? It's always, you say you run it back in your head and stuff like that, and you never know how it plays out. But this was a fantastic match to kick off with, and I say a great place to start with here with the blow by blow here. Jurassic Express taking on MJF and Wardlow. Yeah, I mean, even just to kick off with the MJF's promo. I mean, he just set the tone and everything for the show a bit, and obviously for the match itself, and where he stands with Jurassic Express and that kind of stuff.
On top of that, having Jericho come out for commentary, right before this as well, he's just electric intensity. And I had written down early, there is no way he keeps this up for 2 hours. And he didn't at the end, but I don't think that's just because he left. I think he probably could have kept it up for the whole 2 hours. He's amazing. The way he pushes everything to the next level with the voice and the put downs on Excalibur. Yeah, but you're right. That promo from MJF opened up the match with heat, which already had heat from the last couple of weeks, right? Which we knew.
Absolutely,
just remind everybody this is ongoing. This isn't over. And
in case you were just tuning in here, like hearing about Fyter Fest or whatever, great way to just sort of get the whole feud between the two teams here over. And there's so many great spots here. You say the early sort of back and forth stuff was great, but then I enjoyed the monster clash that we always get with Luchasaurus and Wardlow. I think
there was the pass down. Jungle Boy got passed down on the ring apron from MJF down to Wardlow, and he took him on his shoulder and smashed him into the ring post. I really enjoyed that bit.
Yeah, no, they had a lot of really unique sort of tandem, crazy all over the place moves here, like really taking advantage of that, like sort of lackadaisical take they take in some of the tag matches to allow some of these bigger tag spots to take place. And I think between the chemistry between all four of these guys, they were able to just put on a real sort of fantastic showing between the two guys or all four of them.
I enjoyed the simple heel stuff that MJF and Wardlow did with this distraction on the referee to block off what would have been a hot tag. It's stuff that was commonplace in 1980s, late 80s, early 90s a bit, right? Where that exact move was played out in tag match after tag match. You don't see it every week anymore because it's a bit hokey, it's a bit whatever. But when it's done again and it's done properly, it is a refreshing change. You can be different by tapping into some tricks from the past. And MJF is that old school heel, so it just helps build that character that little bit more, solidify that persona. I thought that was fantastic. And then, of course, the big seeds being sown at the climax.
Oh, for sure. No, I think, overall, I'm going to say my big points here for sure. I'm going to say, like we mentioned earlier, Jericho on commentary, just chiming in with great little moments were just so fantastic, getting all over. I mean, I think I took a tally.
And spots.
Pardon me?
So he sold characters and spots in the match and on both sides. He even as a heel, and a lot reminded me of Jesse Ventura on commentary. That despite the fact he's obviously a heel and likes the heels better, he finds a way to continue to put over the qualities of the babyface that the babyface commentators want to put over as well. Right? He does that such a good job of doing that and maintaining all of the characters.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I think calling them Godzilla versus King Kong, and then when he takes the big dive over the top, switching it over to Mothra with a great Anvil reference here on Canada Day in Canada. You got to love that. Hearing that on national television like that, or on TSN here, of course. But yeah, that was great. And then even another great Canadian reference, that back-to-back Canadian Destroyer that Jungle Boy pulled off. Oh, just fantastic.
Really looked good.
Oh, yeah. No, a lot of great showcasing stuff. And then again, just the seeds planted now for the sort of heel comeuppance, where you saw it sort of building towards, he's putting the ring on. Oh, okay, we've seen this enough times from MJF, and how are they going to, pull it off this time or whatever? And they kind of got their comeuppance, and it ended up costing them the match. And then, maybe this will lead to a bit of dissension between the two of them. We'll have to wait and see.
It sure feels like it's going to, even if this is just the first of several times this happens over months, right? You can't get anything right as he stops himself from punching him, only to be forced to punch him in the face and knock him from the ring. But Wardlow was still down by his side, picking him up after the match and patting him on the shoulder, right? So
yeah, for sure.
So we'll see how this plays out over the next few weeks, but most certainly this is the beginning of the end. And a huge win, though, for Jurassic Express, right?
Oh, for sure. I think they got really well showcased in this match, too. I mean, they even in the heel way that MJF mentioned it in the promo, where he's like, "You're as green as your tongue" to Luchasaurus. Yeah. I mean, yes, the guy is green. Both of them are. They're young guys coming up in wrestling and everything else. But this really was showing that he's getting a rhythm with, especially with MJF and Wardlow here. Catching them with the kicks and stuff like that. I just thought he was really, really well putting things together here. And
there's no question on his rookie status, but I mean, I don't look at this guy and think green like I thought of Kevin Nash back when he was playing Oz, right?
No, I mean...
So I look at this guy as this agile, athletic Kevin Nash or a giant Shawn Michaels. He's definitely but I don't see I hear MJF or whoever, they refer to him as green, and they're using it as this a slam almost.
Yeah.
Trying it as a slur, and I see those ones as the guys when they're making a lot of rookie mistakes. I don't see a lot of flaws.
I think you're green if you're
what he's doing.
I think people are called green whether you're people called John Cena green when he was coming up too, right? And he wasn't necessarily as green as some people, right? I think it's a general reference to your early years in
his status and the numbers.
Yeah.
I think he seems fluent and strong for his experience level. I'm impressed with him and Wardlow. I thought they both look.
No, I'm not putting it in a way to put these guys down at all.
Oh, I don't think you are. No, sure.
I just think that it's a term used, and MJF used it well against the green tongue, the green look, all that kind of stuff. And I'm just saying, he's obviously developing well here in AEW, and being able to showcase just how thick this tag team division really is.
Yeah.
So before we got to the next match, did you get the promo for what's happening after Fyter Fest next week on your feed? I wasn't sure.
The next thing I saw was Joey Janela and Archer fighting.
Okay, outside. Yeah, so there was a little package for what's going to be the AEW Puppy Battle Royal that's going to take place after Fyter Fest. You didn't see this?
I remember seeing something with puppies running around on the screen, but there were no voiceover, there was no text, there was no explanation. It was just a lot of puppies.
Okay.
I think, there might have been AEW logos around. I can't even remember if that had happened or if I just thought, I wonder why I'm seeing.
No, it was big bold letters. It was next week after Fyter Fest, AEW Puppy Battle Royal.
Okay.
Don't know what that means. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I guess we've seen a few more people with dogs.
Right?
I hope not. I think it's just, I hope a lot of them just have puppies and they're going to put them all in the ring and hope that none of them, piss and shit on each other. I don't know.
How do you throw the dog over the
maybe just who's left not crawling out. I don't know. They've got to have some idea.
Yeah. Oh, it could be really, really cute, or it could be the most evil thing.
This is going straight to YouTube. So
worse than Vince McMahon has ever been. As we have live dog fighting at Top Off Fyter Fest.
I certainly hope that that's not the case. But anyway, regardless of jokes aside, we got to a fantastic women's championship match here next.
Yeah. With
Hikaru Shida taking on Penelope Ford. What did you make of this?
I thought it was good. I mean, I still, even through the lead in the pre-match promo and through the match, Penelope, to me, good wrestler. I enjoy I think she's good, improved a lot since signing her time on, but not credible challenger for Shida. And going to be a credible champion in the right now. But it was a good match. I didn't have anything against the bout. I thought it was decent. Again, it's probably not what they were planning on doing. We know the situation with Britt and the situation with the pandemic. So we are where we are with that stuff.
For sure. And it's not like the match
they can put on. It was a good match, yeah.
For sure. I think it's not like they just threw this together either. Penelope's been featured quite heavily throughout the show because of the situation with Britt, for sure. But they've done enough to build her up in the sense that, she's become credible. She's winning all these matches, but usually winning them because of Kip. And then to start this off right away, to take Kip out of it and have her have to focus on her wrestling, I think that was a fantastic story for Penelope, and it made everyone focus on that, because it's always about, well, what's Kip going to do? What's Penelope going to do in their matches, right? So to see this different side, I think that was a great way to see the next level from Penelope. Like you said, I don't think anyone really thought she was going to win this match. Nothing against her at all, but it was just sort of the situation. Obviously, Shida just getting the title and that kind of thing too. But yeah, I think they did what they could to show another level to Penelope Ford here, not just get the same thing, not just get a Kip interference and thrown out. Getting him out of there right away allowed for some interesting different takes from Penelope, and her having to throw some really cool counters in there, getting out of the Falcon Arrow, the bending over backwards to avoid the elbow. She had some really fun, memorable spots. So I think they did well to showcase her here.
And it's a good win for Shida. So that's her feather in the cap for it, right? So it's one of those nobody really loses scenarios coming out of the match when there's a clean winner and a clean loser. So yeah,
definitely, a notch in another title win for Hikaru Shida here. Fantastic to see that didn't hurt either of them coming out of it. We'll wait to see who the next sort of contender seems to be coming out of this, but
it will be interesting to see which way they go. I mean, now we'll see what happens next week with Nyla Rose and what her surprise is. Yeah. If the surprise is her opponent, if the surprise is something unrelated to that, if there is another surprise, is it the opponent is a separate surprise?
Yeah.
Tessa Blanchard.
Tessa Blanchard?
I don't think it's going to be Tessa. It might be Tessa. I don't think it's.
Why would Nyla Rose be bringing Tessa?
No, I think her surprise would be one thing, and I think Tessa would.
Oh, I see.
Be a surprise.
Fair enough.
Surprise. Nyla opponent, and anyway.
No, I mean, anything can happen, and you never know.
There's ways they can go with this, with Penelope and with Shida, without Britt being back in the picture just yet. And of course, Big Swole's got to have something to do before Baker gets back, I think, in the ring too. So.
Yeah, and if that's like sort of a feud with Penelope rather than the title picture, again, just keeping her busy, keeping her featured, does just wonders for all the girls. Just keeps them, thought of on the show, right?
The division in the highlight, right? Yeah. I mean, it's again, you want to promote with the tag division. Part of why it's so much better in AEW is just simply because there's more tag team wrestling on television. That's not just comedy slapstick. It's matches that matter. So,
or just the same 2 or 4 guys that you see every week.
Yeah. So keep throwing different girls out, different matchups, and I believe the division means more. Just like that. It's easy. Yeah. And they're fulfilling that. I think they're doing a better job on it now than they were probably definitely at the beginning of the pandemic, when they'd lost all of the Japanese girls that were working and hadn't done very much with their own roster at all, right? So.
No, for sure. I'm gonna say hard times, and you figure out what you can do. And hey,
hard times, baby.
Speaking of hard times, baby, we had the
Nice.
son, the grandson of a plumber, defending his TNT title against Jake Hager in the TNT Championship match. What did you make of this?
Awesome. Really, I thought it was a really good wrestling match.
Yeah.
Far exceeded the expectations I had for them for being able to put on this kind of match. I thought we'd see Cody trying to go this route and trying to make it a technical bout, and Hager keep bringing it to the brawl.
Yeah.
Right. And instead, we saw, like I think you had indicated last week, we saw the technical MMA side of Hager coming through, where he's going with that moveset more, trying to highlight holds and reversals and submissions. JR was really pushing the fact that he's a submission specialist. I enjoyed this match. Like I said, I thought it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I'm a little bummed my man didn't win. That I thought it's the start of a lot of bad picks for me, but yeah. All
right. We both had some wrong predictions here. If you're listening to our lovely radio program, of course, on 88.7 The River, you can check that out. But yeah, no, I think the one thing I definitely have to say is I think it's so hard to argue that Cody is not just sort of the king right now of the 15-minute, 20-minute match. Like that perfect sort of storytelling in just that amount of time. Like you get one commercial break or whatever, but I think you can't put it all on Cody. It's a working relationship with the partners, but his matches just seem to fit that time slot very well. I like that. Speaking of that, I like that they mentioned that too, that the TNT title, much like the NWA television title, has a different sort of time restraint than your World Championship. It's a 20-minute time restraint, different from the 60-minute we get with the AEW Championship. So I think that was really cool. I think even before getting to the match, I loved the American Nightmare t-shirt that obviously was in the Great American Bash text, because the Great American Bash is happening this evening on NXT TV. It's the little things from Cody that are just, he had that shirt ready to go. So.
Oh yeah, no, that was great.
But yeah, I think it was the sort of game planning with Arn that was interesting here. They know they seem to study a guy's move set, and you come up with just an interesting way to get out of something. How do you reverse an ankle lock? How do you reverse, this suplex, that kind of stuff. I think that was really well worked together here. And another great Canadian reference from Jericho with the TSN turning point. And I think I counted
that he said that a couple times. TSN turning point. Happy Canada Day.
Well, I was going to say that was my next point. Was I think I counted about 5 happy Canada from our man Chris Jericho. So thank you, Chris. That was and his jacket. I'm going to say we didn't mention the jacket, but that was
Don Cherry's
almost classic Don Cherry, right? Yeah, I mean, you couldn't say anything else. And yeah, I think the finish made both guys. I mean, it works for the story too, like the way Hager was kind of going for the submissions more, the way they were pushing that over, and we've seen that. The finish of one submission and the ref looking for the pin instead. We've seen that plenty of times. So an interesting, different take on it. If this just leads to a potential rematch, he certainly has all the accreditation there built in. And it also didn't make Hager look bad if it's just a loss, right? So
for sure. And that's the way I was looking at it, was that if this is just a one and done and he doesn't get a rematch, there was no, it's protecting Hager in defeat. Because he didn't look weak at all. He looked strong in this match. He put on a really good performance with a good wrestling performance. So you package this up with the guy we know can brawl and things. I think he could be getting close to the total package of Jake Hager. What we could have had if he'd followed through on the developmental from years ago. So
yeah. And
I really enjoyed it.
If this was just sort of the character development of like him leaning a little too much into the MMA and the submissions and that kind of stuff, where it backfired on him here, where he was focused on the choke and not realizing that his shoulders were flat, because that doesn't matter in MMA, right? So
maybe he should have gone for the powerbomb instead when he had him in that kind of position. Maybe next time, go start being more violent, lead to the brawling to go along with the tech. I agree with you with the Cody and the Double Ace. They've been building this, the realism behind Cody and the Nightmare family and the Nightmare Collective thing since before AEW was born, right? Yeah. When he was taking on Nick Aldis for the NWA title. We saw that series of videos. They've done such a good job at making Cody a believable professional wrestler.
Yeah.
It's not shying away from the fact that this is what he's doing. It's pro wrestling that he's the best at and in the ring for.
Yeah.
But it's highlighting all of the aspect of why he's so great at it and can do these, like you said, 15, 20-minute matches. And that's going to be routine for him. He'll be in the first, like, or with an Iron Man match. Like, that'll be, you know, he's going to be exactly, the Shawn Michaels in that respect.
Oh, for sure. I'm not saying he can't go longer too, but just when they have to find that perfect sort of TV style match, he just seems so suited for that right now in storytelling, to me at least. Excited to see what happens next, either between these two or whoever challenges Cody next here.
What's Jake's punishment going to be?
Whose punishment? Sorry,
Jake. What's the punishment for laying out the ref?
I
thought it wasn't Aubrey.
Well, yeah, geez, I'd hope not. You'd assume they go with the fine. I mean, that's usually the typical, supposed to lay a hand on the referee kind of thing. Maybe it's
they'll announce the fine
to keep them off TV for a little bit.
I think there will be either off TV or no rematch for a while. That's going to be how they get him away from the rematch with Cody right away.
Right.
And maybe a stipulate, like a match or two against somebody to have to go through something as a punishment.
For sure. Yeah. No, I could.
It's a story for him though, right?
Oh yeah. No, it was nice that he left like on that strong note to get like in the loss, but still thinking that he won, and then obviously getting the heat on the refs and the huge pull apart there at the end, keeping him looking absolutely strong and devastating, and we'll see what's next.
Darby Allen did a promo. How many times have you set your friends on fire, right? And then you send them down the ramp and they go over the Cheerios, right? But at some point the flames went out too early. But when he did it there, right, it was perfect.
Yeah. I mean, you got to assume it probably wasn't take one, but
There's always something wrong when I try that, man. Either I've got no girls in the hot tub full of Cheerios, or I couldn't get enough Cheerios, or I've never had a hot tub.
What about your I know you're real good at the backflips onto the skateboard, though. I know you can hit that like every time, right?
Oh, sure.
So, I mean, is Darby just good? I think he's going to die before he gets like cleared to wrestle.
I think I'm starting to think
is that what the promo package is?
His goal is to die before he gets cleared to wrestle.
I think maybe, and then eventually they call it, "You're cleared. Please stop trying to kill yourself." Like,
it's also. He's so much fun to watch doing this crazy stuff. But
again, for sure, if he's in the same.
Honestly, with that the backwards jump onto the skateboard, you've got to literally. You can't just miss that, right? You've played around on skateboards. You can't just miss that and be like, "Well, I'll try again." That's a fucking broken ankle.
Yeah.
So you're going to break your ankle 18 times before you finally nail it. How is he still walking? That's a minor medical miracle of itself, let alone a miracle of skateboarding. So very impressive.
Yeah, I can say in the same way that they try to showcase Britt, even with her injured, this again doesn't keep them off TV. That you can take two things. With an injury, you can use it as a time to cool someone off to bring their heat back. But again, if someone's hot like these two characters, no reason not to have vignettes or something else to keep them showcased on the show. And then we got back into the arena, and before we got to our next match, we had a little surprise appearance from our boy Orange Cassidy coming wandering out, taking a little folding chair, just putting his feet up on the commentary table to to start putting the edge into Jericho.
Another typically super cool appearance and performance from Orange Cassidy, just to start getting under Jericho's skin.
For sure.
Before Jericho's boys, proud and powerful, Santana and Ortiz came to the ring.
Yes, Pride and Powerful taking on the Private Party, featuring with Matt Hardy at ringside.
The unkillable Matt Hardy.
The unkillable Matt Hardy. That's who we got today. Which is, I kind of think the sort of early incarnation of him before they joined the Brood, I guess. If I had to kind
this
of
was like
compare it to WWE.
Like electric Matt Hardy, right? Like not even
Electric.
Before that.
I feel like that's the high fly one, right? That teams with the Bucks and does the like different hand signals and
that Team Extreme Hardy.
Yeah, the Team Extreme one that's more like a little more old school, and then this one I feel is the like when they were with Doc Hendricks right before they got with the Brood.
Just before Lita then was with Doc Hendricks.
Yeah. I could almost put it at that point, or maybe post. It's hard to say. It's a blurry, brokenness.
It's a very long time ago since this Matt Hardy was the one we saw on TV. He's
Very
much
true.
more popular now than he was back then.
True. I think, yeah, like I say, we don't need to focus too much on Matt. He wasn't too much a part of this match here. But the weirdest thing that caught me off first, like, do these guys not? I mean, I get it's COVID and they're definitely in different locker rooms and stuff like that. But was no one talking about the fact that they were all wearing red? Like both teams were just solid red, and I'm just like, I get who's on different teams, and again, I don't think you would have been confused, but like, it's something that just drives me nuts. Or like, did no one talk backstage to be like, oh no, tonight we're wearing red? Like,
Jericho told them all to do it for Canada Day. Happy Canada Day.
Okay, I can't argue with that. If that was the case, then amen to that. Thank you. Got one over on me there too. So no, I think this was great. I think Santana and Ortiz looked really strong. Like we said, this is what they needed to do. Even in the loss, they look strong in their tag team moves, showing that they're way better together. Even though they're good as singles, they've not to put them down to singles wrestlers at all. They can certainly hold their own, but haven't got any wins. They're so much better as a tag team here. And yeah, I like that they talked about how there was a bit of a past between these guys coming up to and outside of AEW. And I think that kind of brought out a really good performance from Private Party as well too, because I feel like sometimes it takes them a bit to get comfortable with other guys. They're young and obviously new to wrestling, a lot of the tag teams here in AEW. So if this was a team they were more familiar with and that kind of thing, I think that would help them perform in the ring better and be a little quicker on moves. And they were able to pull a lot of really fun spots off here. Yeah,
I think you're definitely right, because this seemed like a more gelled performance. They're growing in experience, right? I mean, again, we're a year in now.
Yeah.
This is their second big win, arguably the second biggest, right? I mean, I think,
I would say most memorable.
Yeah. I think they looked smoother. They looked cohesive. Looked like they always look like they're having fun, but I think they looked like they were really enjoying it.
Oh, for sure.
That makes for a better match. So, and Proud and Powerful, yeah, the great set of power double team moves. There was a few that they did that would, not Legion of Doom reminiscent, maybe just because that's not quite their size and style, but in that same vein of fluency and almost
cohesion.
Dare I say, in the way that FTR have tried to show some double team stuff off in their first few weeks.
Right.
Proud and Powerful did a better job of it in this match.
Yeah.
Don't hate me.
I find sometimes it's the dance partner too. I think Butcher the Blade are definitely new to FTR, obviously, and it's become pretty clear early on. I think maybe when we see them with someone they're a little more comfortable with, and that's just going to be tough. They haven't wrestled any of these guys. They've been in WWE, right? And it's a different style of wrestling. We see it vice versa too when guys go over to WWE. Like how long did it take AJ to get the WWE style, right? So everyone sort of wrestles a little different, and they're going to have to come around a little bit in that sense. But no, I think this is, again, just a great showcase of the tag division. Keep everybody looking strong. And it'd be a big win for Private Party. And again,
I love the finish.
Yeah. Yeah, they looked super strong. And they sort of come up like underestimating them too a little bit on Proud and Powerful's part too. So yeah, no, absolutely. And if this is sort of, Jericho was a little upset too with that, like you can say Hager with the loss this here, and you can say he's pissed
I'm
with
having
Cassidy.
Night, I think he said.
Yeah, these were maybe the little stuff that could be, hurting the inner circle. You never know.
Oh,
I also had pardon me.
The inner circle is falling apart. This is the beginning of the end for the inner circle, because you can only have so many after week of disappointment rally parties, right?
Yeah.
And Sammy's not going to be invited to the party for a little while.
True. I had a thought about this when I was watching Dark. Was I really enjoyed the Ricky Starks match, and again we talked about him when he had his match with Cody, and I was like, I mean, that'd be an interesting guy to take Sammy's place right now if they needed to fill the void in the inner circle. I could see it'd be a real interesting push for Ricky. And again, even if it is the demise of the inner circle, they could use that too if they bring this guy in thinking he's going to help, but he doesn't, or he helps in the wrong way, or who knows, right? But I just something popped in my head where I was like, I think that'd be an interesting place for Ricky Starks, but I think he'd be fine on his own too. But
to be honest, I think it's the only other way you go with the inner circle story at this point is either you break it up after Jericho also loses to Orange Cassidy next week, or vice versa. Jericho beats Cassidy next week, and then at what we now know is going to be Fight for the Fallen. Yeah, Jericho lays into everybody else because he's the only member of Inner Circle that got a win. and then
Right.
turn on him, right? I think either they break up Inner Circle one way or the other, or you draft in the new member that's going to fill the Sammy shoes for a little while. And then when Sammy comes back, there's your impetus for actually finishing the group.
Yeah.
Either Sammy wants a spot back one way or the other. You've got a dozen ways to go off of that, but
For sure. No, I think I really like the pull apart that we got from Orange and Jericho at the end of this too. After the match had sort of taken place, Jericho's sort of had enough with Orange, and Orange had kind of got up to walk away, and Jericho's just screaming at him, and the guys come out and pull them apart, and Orange, obviously nonchalant, could care less, and so lackadaisical. Yeah, it's just premium Orange Cassidy. So very, very, very excited to see what happens next week with these two. They've done a great job, I think, putting them over, and
for sure,
Jericho's doing a great job with that character. He realizes how over that character is, and again, if they're going to do something with it, why not try that out now? And like you were speaking of, we got the first inclination that Fight for the Fallen is going to be taking place now on July 15th. That's 2 weeks from tonight. This is where they have moved the Jon Moxley cage match, because obviously due to circumstances, that is the more safe bet to take.
As soon as they started running down the card for next week, I think it was maybe 3 hours ago, I read on Twitter that next week's Fyter Fest was not going to be live. Therefore, if Moxley was not going to be there today to tape this match, he ain't going to be on TV next week.
I didn't know that, yeah.
Sure enough, when they started announcing the matches next week, at whatever point it was when they said,
it was right after
private party, since they won tonight, they're going to take on the winners of the tag team title match. You're like, well, that
was right after, just before, because they said that before they got to the Fyter Fest. Like, obviously they wanted to just sort of get that in your head, and since they were running over the night 2 stuff, and I remember seeing that too. It was like, oh, that's filling the void, and we'll see what they're doing, if they were just canceling it outright. But I think just moving it a week, it's the smartest bet. And if they, again, we're going to sort of make lemonade with lemons here, you put in a bad situation. Again, a great promo from Taz going out there and just sort of laying into Moxley about not being able to make it there and that kind of stuff, and the nice little shoot signal from Cage, as he said that we're not running a sloppy shop, specifically, is what Taz said. I mean, that had to be a dig at WWE over their terribleness that they've gone through last week. But the little things, I love it. You can't get enough. And no, I think the straight down the pipe things from Taz are just helping Cage seem more tough and just gets you more built up to this match. And I wonder, with how much of that they're influencing into this, and with JR being like, oh, how much can Moxley train during all this? And, how much is it going to affect things? Are they going to work some of that real life stuff into the finish of this match?
Good question. That's really, I mean, again, it's nothing but interested to see this match. I was already looking forward to it being next week. I think that it's almost another one of those golden opportunities that hatches out of a shitty, you didn't expect it to give you anything good, and then this happens.
For sure.
You've now got the chance to give it an extra week of build, get an extra week of hype, an extra week of excitement going for it. No, I'm all for that. And great promo.
Nope, totally gets you all pumped
You're
up.
right, though. It's something. It's a direction they could go in, without a doubt. Get that.
I like just thinking that it's another direction too. I think it just makes you more excited for the match overall. That's not a bad thing to think about either. So, I think doing what you can with the situation here, and we'll definitely bring you the blow by blow of Fight for the Fallen when that happens on July 15th. Now we got to the main event of the evening: the Best Friends taking on Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page for the tag team championships. And I mean, I'm saying it right here. This was the best entrance of the night, right?
Oh yeah,
for Best Friends.
This is the best entrance of the month.
Yeah. I mean, they got drove
even last
in.
month. It's only the 1st of July. Best entrance of last month.
Fair enough. Yeah, we just kicked off. I mean, I love the Best Friends. That was amazing.
That was awesome.
Trent's mom, Sue.
That was really funny.
I mean, it was so funny.
Come back, give me a kiss. Like, oh.
Yeah, waving to her before they got in the ring. Like, oh, it was just heartwarming. You gotta love the Best Friends here. They great way to get the comedy side of them over, as well as how serious they are with JR and them saying, well, they're on a 7-fight win streak. They're doing all the right things here. They're a strong tag team, but again, they like to have a good fun time as well. So, what did you make of this match?
I thought it was a really good match. There was some of the stuff on the outside of the ring. But I thought that was like high impact, high action. Trent nailed some of those like high planches over the top rope, and really good. I mean, it's what you nothing that you don't expect, right? I mean, that becomes almost the problem now is they've set such a high bar, and you expect something to be so good when it lived up to your expectations. So you're like, yeah, right on. That's what I thought it would be. And you're only going to be really moved or shaken if it doesn't hit that bar. So, and I hate to be that kind of, that sounds critical in a way. I don't want it to be critical sounding.
Right.
But it also is harsh to a degree because, there was nothing wrong with the match. It was really good. Mm. But it was main event TV match, right? It wasn't, I didn't see it as a pay-per-view level. And I've almost in my mind, I've wanted to see this as a pay-per-view card.
Right.
So it was great. I'm not complaining. I just don't want to, if I could, otherwise every match has been great. And then why didn't I say the whole night was an A+, right? So yeah.
Fair enough. If that, I'm gonna say if it was expectations of the fact that they had said this was a pay-per-view caliber event and that kind of stuff, and you do sort of, they've catered us to some very, very successful and amazing main events and showcase matches on pay-per-views. So why would this be any different? So if it didn't sort of live up to that for you, I could totally understand that. That's wrestling for you. Everything's going to be different to somebody else. I think it's so hard on TV to compare to pay-per-view. I think they would have had way more time on pay-per-view with this match and not been as like the time constraints were certainly a factor here. And always is going to be as well. But I think, just was helpful to highlight them in a different way. I like how strong they looked. They hit these guys with some huge moves that were just really good for Trent and Kentucky gentleman here, Chuck Taylor. I gotta say the pile driver, fantastic. Just the Storm Zero and the I gotta say the clotheslines, the hug. It was great.
I think what you nailed it there. If there'd been more time to the match, there's more to it, more story. I can get more emotionally connected and invested in the match, and then it might have moved me. Right. So as it was a good match, but it didn't get me excited and move me to the level that like the Bucks versus Page and Omega did. I think that these are 4 workers that could easily produce a 5-star classic Meltzer match.
Yeah.
I got that impression again, maybe reinforced tonight by the way that Chuck and Trent work. And that they definitely is a chemistry between the 4. It was a good match. So, yeah.
Do you think there was stuff that was maybe too distracting, like the FTR coming out? We didn't mention that, but the FTR came out and they were having beers by commentary. And we'd already, again, had Cassidy come out. We've already had Jericho. There had been enough of that sort of stuff. So to me, it maybe felt that if they were going to do that, they maybe could have done it a different night or something. I don't know. This didn't seem, or already have had them out before everyone got there. I don't know. It just, the timing of it seemed to influence the flow of the match all of a sudden. It was a weird distracted, unless it was supposed to. Like Hangman didn't get affected by the beers till afterwards, like the offer and that kind of stuff. But if they were going to sit there drinking them and he kept looking over or like being distracted, I could be more into it. But to me, I felt like, it maybe took away from the time that was needed in the ring more so than outside.
My initial thought was, here we go. Screwy finish because FTR either go to interfere and they do, or they go to interfere and the Bucks come out and that causes grief. And so, you're right.
That's too much WWE, right? We haven't got any screwy stuff here at AEW. It's been a whole year and I can't think of a real screwy finish, right? Other than maybe a low blow here and there.
So it would have sucked. Yeah, you're right. So it would have sucked if it had been those guys, especially where that had launched from. But I guess just because, like you said, the timing of having it happen early in the night with other guys coming out to either add to commentary or just sit there and be distracting. Yeah. Something about it kind of maybe gave me the WCW feels over the WWE vibes. It gave me the WCW, here we go again vibe. Booked it like this, finish for the 4th time tonight, Dusty? So, But then, again, they didn't do anything except just sit there and didn't get involved till after.
Yeah.
Like you said, though, as well, even with what they did do and what happened with it. I didn't get to see the actual ending, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna say hot end. Definitely got to compliment Hangman on this huge, strong finish. Him and Trent definitely like clashing there with lariats and big shots. He hit him with, you can see he reversed him into the dead shot, and Hangman Trent ended up kicking out, and then Hangman jumps outside, comes back in with a big buckshot lariat and puts him away. But yeah, these guys look strong, even in defeat here. But yeah, the FTR came to the ring post with their beers, offered one to Hangman and to Kenny Omega. Hangman right away starts drinking, super excited. He just retained his title and happy to have a beer regardless of who's giving it to him in the situation. Kenny obviously a lot more tentative, being straight edge and not drinking and wanting his milk probably post-match, I guess. And he decides to just take it over to the ringside and he pours it out. And FTR weren't too happy with seeing that. So they seem to all get kind of in each other's faces. The Young Bucks came out to sort of cool faces down a little bit to keep things from escalating any further. And that was sort of as we went to credits and the end of Fyter Fest Day 1. I think that was an interesting way to sort of obviously show FTR looking to get into the title picture. But if that was all it was going to be, that it could have been any other night, especially with the fact that they're going to wrestle tomorrow.
Yeah.
It could have been tomorrow.
Yeah.
But then not everything's going to be, absolutely perfect. But it was still fun. I think it was great to see the best friends showcased here. In defeat, they can sort of refigure things out and see what's next for them. And see what happens with Kenny Omega and Hangman when they take on Private Party next week at Fyter Fest.
Yeah, next week, along with that, you got Nyla Rose has a surprise.
Yeah.
Colt Cabana, Brody Lee, and Lee Grayson of the Dark Order will take on SCU in a 3-way 6-man tag team match. Joey Janela against the Big Archer man. That's going to be a good match. Lance Archer, the Murder Hawk. Yeah, I think he's going to kill him.
Oh, yeah?
He's going to kill him, and Joey's going to enjoy it because that's Joey Janela.
The bad boy never dies.
Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy, and then Young Bucks and FTR taking on Butcher and the Blade, Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix.
This is going to be an amazing match. I hope it gets time. What we were talking about tonight with what happened with this main event here, I really hope that doesn't happen with that one because, I want that match to have time. I want all 8 of those guys to be able to be showcased really well. And
at the very least, I want to see Butcher, if they don't have time for that, knock Butcher out really quickly, right?
Okay, yeah.
It's mostly Pentagon and Phoenix against FTR and the Bucks. Yeah. Occasionally the Blade comes in when they need a rest. That I'd be much happier to see that. And then they made official tonight, John Moxley versus Brian Cage for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship in 2 weeks at Fight for the Fallen. And immediately NXT countered that by announcing in 2 weeks they're going to do Bash at the Beach.
Is that true?
No, that's not true.
I was going to say, I don't think that's true. They don't.
Surprised.
Well, I was going to say they don't own the rights to it, so
you would not have been surprised if that had been true, right? You'd have been like, "Well, figures, counter programming, Jim."
Yeah, they're doing what they can. We're maybe getting a real war here once they start, mentioning each other. I'm gonna say I haven't seen Bash at the Beach yet. I was fortunately watching the show live myself, but I'm gonna catch that and see what happens.
Or Great American Bash.
Great American Bash. Sorry, getting the name.
Have you seen results? Do you want to know results or not?
No, I'm gonna watch it. I prefer no spoilers. Thank you.
All right, I won't spoil anything for anybody.
You enjoy your Twitter. I'll watch the show.
It does. I will say, which I think can be spoiler free, is there looks to have been no complaints from any fans on either of the shows tonight.
Which is all we can have.
Everybody watching whichever one they seem to prefer definitely felt like they got their money's worth and they got a good show. So, right.
What else could we hope for on Canada Day here on LowBlowRadio podcast, right?
Just love wrestling, man. I just want it to do good.
Absolutely. Well,
Chris, to be better.
Well, that's a whole other story. Is there anything else you'd like to cover tonight?
I think I'm good. What about you?
I think I'm good. Well, everybody, thank you for listening. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, share this with your friends, do all the fun stuff. Follow us on Twitter. I'll get it right one of these times. LowBlowRadio or LowBlow887. Yes, check us out on 88.7 The River, Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. And you'll always catch us here on YouTube as well as on Spotify, Google Play, and all your other podcast platforms. All right, Chris, I'll see you next time.
I'll see you next time. Thanks again, everybody.